Guys, welcome to the Imperfect Together podcast. This is with Zach and Chris, and we have a guest today. His name is Deven. Give it up for Deven.
Yay, Deven. Zach, you sound a little rough today.
Had a rough night. I was, so I do Young Life on the side.
Yep.
Whenever I'm not preaching here. And we had a Nickelback club.
Nickelback club, huh?
Uh-huh.
Is that where all the tats are for now?
Yep, we got tats all
Got
over
all tatted up?
Got it all tatted up. Got it all professionally done.
As they're flaking off already.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was really fun. Got to live out my dream. All is well in the world. It's just, my voice is all raspy.
Hey, you sing all that Nickelback. You know what happens.
But enough about me, Chris. Deven, what is your last name?
My last name is legally Whitehead, but people I've known as Youngblood because that's what I'm eventually.
I call him Deven Youngblood.
See, I always got so confused because on the lead thing it says Whitehead or Youngblood.
That's why you just need to ask. You know, sometimes you just ask.
So I really didn't know your name for the longest time.
Right now it's legally Whitehead, but eventually it's going to be Youngblood.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
He wants it to be Youngblood. It's currently Whitehead.
Why? Why do you want Youngblood?
Well, because it's my family, like my dad's real last name is Jenkins. My mom's last name is Whitehead. So I took her last name. So now that I'm living with my stepdad and my brother, they all share the Youngblood name. So now that I'm over the age of 18, I can change it myself. So that's what I've been wanting my entire life because I've lived with my stepdad my entire life.
So he was a good role model for you. Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Now, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever your name is short for Chrissy, is that right?
That is correct. Yes, my parents named me Chrissy.
That's what I thought. I didn't know for sure. I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings, if I got that in
It's okay. I am perfectly comfortable with that.
You guys want to hear a funny story about my name?
About Zach?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I didn't know how to spell my name for 18 years.
How did you spell it?
So here's the thing. So it was graduation, and I was handing out my graduation invites, and it said Zachary.
So Zachary's your full name.
Well, listen, but I looked at the invites. I was like, that's wrong, you know. And I told people, I was like, hey, here are my invites, but it's Zachery, not Ary. And then my friend Tyler was like, no, it's Ary. Look at your driver's license. And I looked at my driver's license, and it was Ary. So I was spelling my name wrong for 18 years.
How did that even begin, Zach?
Well, here's the thing.
They didn't teach you to actually look at your name in kindergarten when you were learning?
I did some investigating, and my Social Security card says Zachary, but my birth certificate says Zachery. So I don't know what is up and what is down. Still to this day,
somebody messed up somewhere.
I still don't know my name.
So I just go with Zach.
I go with Zach, but when it gets to Zachary, it gets complicated.
Okay.
So, and even when we have to do like the new driver's license, I'm kind of scared because I don't know the process. Because it's like I've gotten away for so long with, having two different names.
Yeah, I don't know how that works legally.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Maybe somebody's listening will know.
Yeah.
Give you some legal advice on how to spell your name.
Yeah. So, I didn't know how to spell my name for 18
Which one do you prefer?
Ary.
Zachary?
Zachary.
So what'd you write in school?
Zack.
That's a third spelling. How long did you spell it Zack?
Until I was about 28.
Are you serious? And then you changed it to CH?
Yeah, because I wanted to be more professional.
Sometimes I will never understand you, Zach.
I wanted to be more professional, so I switched to CH. And then it went from Zachary. And then I decided to switch it to Zachary whenever I spell out my name instead of Z-A-C-H.
But at no point your legal name had a K in it. So why?
No, it
so
never did.
Why?
Well, I think,
Man, your kindergarten teacher let you down.
My mom.
Preschool, whatever it was.
I'm going to put this on my mom. Because I remember whenever I was first learning how to spell my name, I spelled it Z-A-C-K, and she was like, yeah, that's right. But it wasn't right.
I mean, it is a spelling of your name.
That is a spelling
It's
of
not
my
the
name.
way you
It's
spell
not
your
the-
name.
Yeah, so, yeah, Well,
I'm glad you finally figured it out.
Yeah.
It's a long, complicated process.
I haven't figured it out. That's
Well,
the thing.
at least you know it's wrong.
Yeah, my friends, they still spell it Z-A-C-K to get under my skin. So, I don't know. That's a long
Good to
story,
know.
But,
Good to know.
Yeah, but hey, I have a question. So when people, like, let's say we have, Chris that came up to you, Deven, and he goes, hey, what's up, Bobby? But your name's not Bobby, and you have to tell him, hey, my name's not Bobby, my name's Deven. Would that hurt your feelings?
Well, that depends on the situation. Like, it just depends on if he actually knew me or not.
If you thought that he knew you and he wasn't joking, would that hurt your feelings?
So what, like so say you've been coming to church for 6 months.
Yep.
Every week.
You've had conversations.
And I call you Bobby.
You've had
I call you Bobby instead of
You've had conversations
Deven.
with Chris.
Now, if you were being serious, like if you came up to me right now and told me, hey, what's up, Bobby? Even though considering we do have a Bobby in our church group, I'd probably be a little offended, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially if we knew each other for 6
name.
months.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's another interesting fact. I struggle with names.
Most people do. Names are hard. They're important, but they're hard.
I struggle very hard with names. It takes me to get, like, for instance, Trey, the girl that works up at the front, it took me 3 weeks, and I finally got her name last week.
Oh.
But I'm not, they tell me their name. It's like when people tell me their names, it just goes in one ear, not the other.
So you're saying you're not paying attention to them.
Not paying attention. And then I'm like,
maybe you
they
should
told me
pay
their name.
attention, Zach.
And then I'm like,
That'll help.
man, this happened to me yesterday at Nickelback Club. We had a bass player. And I said, hey, what's your name? And he told me one ear, not the other. And then literally a minute later, what was his name? And I didn't know his name. And then I had to find out from someone else. I was like, hey, what's his name? I do it all the time.
I'm sure everybody's had to deal with that at least once.
It is tough.
It's hard.
But I think there's ways to help. Like you can be more intentional about focusing when
Yeah.
they tell you your name. Of course, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do that too sometimes.
I struggle with names, but Jesus, he knows everyone's name. Are you aware of that, Chris?
I am aware of that, Zach.
That he knows every single name, every name in your household, in Devin's household, my household, all of Fort Smith, all of Arkansas, all of the United States, all over the world. He knows every name. Did you know that, Chris?
I did. Did you know he knows all the lack of hairs on your head, Zach?
Yes, he does. He does.
That used to be there.
And I have a question for you, Devin. Do you think it's hard to know that Jesus knows us personally? Do you think that's hard to believe?
Sometimes I think it's hard to believe just because, like, someone's so perfect that hasn't sinned but suffered as if he did. How could someone like that know you personally, want to know you personally? Because it's like I have a choice of who I want to know, and of who I want to get to know, but like he wants to know every single person on this earth, no matter who they are, know? And sometimes I think about that, like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Chris?
What was your question?
Listen, Chris.
It's just kind of like
Devin
you.
got it.
It's kind of like you and your names. It's just in one ear and out the others.
Yeah, it's so. So what is it hard to believe that Jesus knows us personally?
Yeah, because we can't comprehend that, right? I mean, it's when you start thinking about God, Jesus, and trying to understand the way that he functions, whether you're talking about love, knowing us, whatever it is, there is we can only understand that through the way that we know our own relationships. And we know that for us, like, there's no way I'm going to know everybody in the world.
Yeah.
Or, for that matter, remember everybody's name in my class, much less Fort Smith or Arkansas or the United States or whatever. So for us, it's hard to believe, but that takes a step back and then saying, okay, and really understanding who God is and understanding that there's a lot about God that we'll never fully know or understand or comprehend because he's
and he gets everything.
So far above what we can
it.
comprehend. Yeah. I think one day, like, once you get to heaven, you'll understand it all.
I think
your eyes will be open to a lot more. You'll understand a lot that we just can't comprehend.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it? I don't know how much is true, but you look at certain stats or movies or whatever about like you only use like a certain percentage of your brain. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is.
And then like there's like a 70% that you don't.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's 30%. But either way, it's like, how much more is out there that we could know? We just don't.
Yeah. Do you ever think whenever you get to heaven, you'll get to see all the mistakes that you made in your past? Like
I don't know.
Like right now, older dead Zach is looking at me right now.
Looking down on you.
Is looking at me. He was like, "Oh, this is where he messed up. This is the decision that he made right now, where he messed up." Do you think that?
I don't know. I would have to go back and biblically look to see if there's.
There's no biblical truth to that. But I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, I
like
mean,
we're gonna have so much time up there. We're gonna have so much time up there.
But that goes back to not understanding.
It's an infinite time. It's an infinite time up
right.
there. So I'm sure there's a book of Zach that's up there right now getting written. As we speak right now, and it's gonna be like one of those Harry Potter books where you kind of open them up, and then it's like a picture, and they're moving, and it
just all shows up.
Yeah, and then sometimes you get into the page, and then you're into the page. You're like, oh man, this is 1996, and this is when Jacob stole my bike, and I punched him in the face.
I don't think it's gonna be that way. I think there will be a moment where we're held accountable for some of our actions, but that's kind of like before they let you into the gates, like going through the list.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're going.
But no, I think heaven goes back to one of those things we can't comprehend and understand.
Yeah, we can't
right? For us, we're like eternity in one place.
Yeah.
We don't understand it, but the reality is, it is.
Would you dance with Jesus when you get to heaven?
No.
You're not a dancer. But if Jesus came up and he's like, "Hey man, let's boogie it down," would you do it, Chris?
Not with him.
You want to boogie?
I would dance in heaven.
With him? You want to boogie with Jesus?
I'm not dancing with Jesus.
Come on,
like,
Chris, let's boogie together.
No.
Why?
Why would I?
Why wouldn't you?
Why would I?
This is a great question. I mean, he wants to know you personally, Chris, and personally dance.
No. First of all, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Secondly, no, I would not.
How's that song? How's that Christian
I would
song
not.
go?
We put my hand on his hips and he puts my
how's that Christian song go? It's like, will you dance for me, Jesus? Will you
I don't know.
Will I stand in your presence?
Oh, that's all I can only imagine.
Yeah, if I could only imagine.
Yeah, dance for you, not with you.
No.
Aha!
No, it's not that. It's like,
yes, it is.
Dance with you, Jesus.
No.
I want to dance with you, Jesus.
First of all, it's not that country of a song.
It is a country
it is.
song. Right?
No, it's not.
It's not?
It's by Mercy Me. Good Lord.
I thought it's a country song. It sounds like a country song.
It doesn't. Just in your head.
We're getting way off subject, Chris.
Surprise.
You need to.
I'm sorry, Zach. I'll reel it back in.
We need to reel it in, Chris. You're getting out of control. Do you know? So when we're talking about Jesus, having a personal relationship with us, and it's hard to kind of grasp sometimes. When I talk about, or when I tell you, let me rephrase that. When you think of the story of Zacchaeus, what's the first thing that comes to mind, Deven?
Well, I haven't.
Zacchaeus was a wee little man he was.
I haven't really. I'm being
Was
honest,
he?
I haven't really
But
read that.
no. This goes back to we know that song because that's what we were taught in Sunday school. Devin's like, what the heck are you singing right now? And everybody listening is like, what the heck are you singing?
People sing that to me because they think that my name is Zacchaeus.
Older people.
No.
Yes. Younger people do not.
Yeah.
Anyways, why don't you answer the question?
Well,
If you remember what it is.
I
know who
don't.
Zacchaeus
I
is?
couldn't tell you.
So he's a wee little man that was in a little tree, big tree, because he was a little guy, and it was a crowd in Jericho. And this is the book of Zach, right? I want to preface this. This is the book of
Paraphrased.
Zach. Yeah. Sometimes we have.
It's actually found in Luke.
Yeah, I paraphrase the Bible sometimes, and sometimes it's inaccurate. So this is me paraphrasing the Bible. Zacchaeus is a small man. A small man, some people say that he may be smaller than usual. And he was a tax collector, right? And so everyone hated tax collectors. They're like, oh man, he takes my money and all this stuff. And, he's small, and Jesus is in Jericho, and there's this big crowd. And Zacchaeus is so small, he's tiny, you can't see anything, so he has to get on a tree. And then I'm actually going to read something, and it's in Luke 19, and it says, a man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your home today. So first of all, Zacchaeus probably didn't know that Jesus knew him by name. He knew him by name, and then the reputation that Zacchaeus has is, he's kind of like, Chris, who do you hate the most in life? Who do you dislike the most? Besides myself.
I don't dislike you, Zach.
Who do you hate the most?
I don't
like
hate
that.
anybody. Yeah, that's just, you're not supposed to hate. There's a lot of people I may not get along
Who
with.
do you not get along with?
It depends on the day. A lot of times, some
All
days.
right, Thursday. On a Thursday, typical Thursday, who do you not get along with?
I don't know.
Toxic,
You're asking me
clock is
to
ticking
come
down.
up with an answer to a question I don't
All
know the
right,
answer
so
to.
let's say he doesn't like his wife.
That's
Let's amplify that. Let's amplify that by 10, and that's how much the people of Jericho dislike Zacchaeus. And now you have Jesus.
because he stole their money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody's stolen from
Yeah,
me.
he would go, all right, the taxes, they'll have like the tax government on Zacchaeus, and like, all right, you need to take 10% away from these farms, blah, 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 blah. And then Zacchaeus would be like, I'm going to take 15. What are they going to do? And so he goes over to the farmer, he's like, I know it says 10, but I'm asking for 15. And if you don't do it, you're going to go to jail because I'm a tax collector, I'm a chief tax collector, and all this stuff. And that's the business that he was in. And so he had the reputation in town that no one, people just disliked him. And then you have, Jesus coming up to him and he's like, I must stay at your house. And I think that is super significant because I don't know. And it's also, with the crowd, because with Jesus, he kind of did his own thing, right? Like, people were like, oh yeah, well, Jesus is probably going to say this, and Jesus is probably going to condemn Zacchaeus up in that tree and tell him what he's doing is wrong and this and this and this. But no, Jesus did a different approach. He was like, hey, come down in that tree, let me stay at your house. And was very gracious and very nice. And was very personal, and it comes back to the names. Coming back to the names, like when people call you by name, especially people that have only met you once, and they go, hey, Deven, how's it going? Like Tim, Tim, our other guy, he's probably said, hey, Deven, how's it going? And you're probably like, man, I didn't even know he knew my name. That's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like that. And so that's the feeling that Zacchaeus got. I'm sure probably amplified more since it was Jesus.
He probably thought he was in trouble.
Yeah.
He's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Call me out.
Yeah. Yeah, but Yeah, so how do you feel about that?
Like,
So after I told you the book of Zach, how do you feel about, do you think Jesus was, in the right there or what have you?
well, just by the way you like word that, I don't really know what you're trying to ask. Like,
Do you know what I'm trying to say, Chris?
Great answers come from good questions.
Do you know what I'm trying to say, Chris?
No.
like
What
you
I'm
was
saying
asking.
is-
Is Jesus in the right?
Well,
Yeah, he was.
Well, do you think?
I think nobody expected it.
Yeah.
I think it shows a lot about who Jesus was and the fact that, one, that he knew Zacchaeus' name.
Yeah.
Two, that he called him by name. I think that was very specific.
Yeah.
And then three, that he decided to go to his house. Despite everybody else not liking that, he ended up going to his house, which ultimately led to him saying, look, Jesus, I'm sorry for everything I did. And I think he even he's like, I'm going to pay everybody back 4 times whatever I stole. I'm going to give them their money back. And he goes on to ultimately say that, salvation has come to this house, right? Because Zacchaeus finally understood, one, who Jesus was, and developed this personal relationship with him, which is, I think, is ultimately what all of us need to get to. So understanding that, that Jesus wants to have a personal relationship with you or with Deven or me, one, it's just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But two, it's one example of many in the Bible that shows that Jesus was very personal and that he knew everybody on a very personal level.
So, question, Devin. So, let's say you're Zacchaeus and you've been stealing money from everyone, and then Jesus came down to you and said, "Hey, Devin, I want to stay at your house." How would you feel about that?
I don't know. I'd probably just be mind blown. Like, it'd be mind boggling. I wouldn't even know how to think.
Would you?
I just think about what my wife would say. She's like, I gotta go clean up first. Like, women don't let anybody come over if the house is not clean.
Hey, let's not speak.
Most women.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, yeah, come on over.
So when we accept Jesus' invitation, so let's say you accepted the invitation, you have now developed this relationship with him. Would you say that's fair? And would you say that's fair? Yeah, you formed a relationship. I had a great point. I had a great point in my head, and then it went away. What was it?
Lost in that.
I lost it. I saw a joke, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that joke. I'm going to do this really great point. And then I lost it.
I'm sorry,
man,
Zach.
I felt good about it. I got goosebumps about it. Anyways.
So Jesus
is the answer.
Jesus has never met Zacchaeus?
I don't know. I mean, it never talks about it.
He's
but
never met Zach?
No, I think that if they would have met before, then Zacchaeus wouldn't have been trying to figure out.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been climbing up in the tree trying to.
Cause
I think Zacchaeus was seeking. I think he realized, man, everybody hates me. I don't like this life.
Yeah.
What is it about this Jesus that everybody loves? And that's why he's trying to climb up in this tree to get around the crowd. So I don't think they probably ever met before. Now, I haven't researched it enough to see if that's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I believe that's the first time, but I mean, I definitely could be wrong. But even if you read that whole story, there's no indication there that they've met before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not a biblical scholar. So what are some applications with this? First step, let's take steps into knowing more about Jesus in a real and personal way. Even if we have, let's say you're not a Christian, and if you're not a Christian, that's cool. But how can we, and if you're not if you don't believe in God and all that stuff, I would encourage you to continue listening. But what I'm trying to say is, I had another great point. Man. Anyways, yeah, just love Jesus more. That's where love Jesus more. and then you know, and then also, you know,
Well,
find ways to love your neighbor. What? Yes.
let me ask Devin a question. You would say you have a personal relationship with Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
Well, like, that's my life right there. Like, I mean, I remember the first time I pursued a relationship with Jesus was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I mean, I'm not saying my life was easier ever since then. It's actually been harder because, like, of all the opportunities the temptations that have come along in the way. And I just know, like, that's not me anymore, you know?
Yeah.
The big stuff in 2016 was what changed my life forever. And it was just one simple song that told me, hey, like, this is it right here. And so it's just, my heart changed since then. So I think it's everything to me, because I have my phone password is 061616 because that's the day my life changed forever. So really, it's like a big part of my life.
Yeah.
Of whenever I accepted that.
And we can all break into your phone now.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I should really publicly announce that, but I mean,
You got to change your password now.
They gotta get to my phone first.
If you ever find Devin's phone, you can get in. But no, I think that's a big deal, and I think that's really what we're talking about today is that Jesus wants to have a personal relationship with us.
Do you remember the first time God invited you into a personal relationship?
Yeah, I was 10 years old at a kids camp I didn't want to go to.
Yeah.
But I mean, throughout the week.
But like, you felt it, like, oh man, this is happening.
I don't think it was anything like that.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Did you feel different?
Well, yeah, I think I realized who Jesus was. Not that I knew everything about him, because we're always learning that.
Yeah.
But I realized, you know what, I am a sinner. I've done a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And man, I agree with and believe this Jesus guy that we're talking about. Like I was 10.
Yeah. And
I know for a fact that, you know, that night when I was praying with my cabin leaders, that God changed me, but it was still a process. Right? There were certain things like one little thing was like I was terrible with language. You know, I was trying to be cool all the time, and so I would cuss all the time. And like one immediate thing that changed in me is like I hated it. Yeah. Like I did not want to say bad, and I still hate it. Like I don't mind hearing other people, but like for it to come out of my mouth, I just can't stand it. Yeah. Now, that doesn't always happen to people. That was just something that happened to me. Yeah. But it was the defining moment, like you were talking about on June 16th of 16 or whatever. You, like I had that defining moment. Like here's something that changed, and now I'm just in this continual process of growing and developing a relationship more, because that's what relationships are. Yeah. Relationships are always growing and developing. They're never.
Jesus loves you.
You don't like, hey, Devin, we're best friends, and that's it, right? Yeah. Relationships are always growing. It's the same thing with Jesus.
Yeah. 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 When you're in a relationship, you know, it's back and forth. He loves you. You love him. But you got to accept his love. Yeah. And I would say the second is love your neighbor, you know, which I think it's very difficult at times to do.
Yeah. That becomes.
And Jesus did that perfectly.
Yeah. That becomes a, I don't know, overflow, a result is I think is what I'm looking for. That becomes a result of having a relationship with Jesus. Is now, okay, now I'm going to love people too, even the ones I don't like.
And even when with Zacchaeus, he loved his friends. You know, he loved his disciples and all that stuff. No one loves Zacchaeus. Mm-hmm. And if we really stick to the scripture of, you know, love our neighbor, you know, Jesus did exactly that. Yeah. You know, with Zacchaeus.
No, I think so. I mean,
and so
that's the example we're looking to.
And so Jesus is the man. We could all say right now that Jesus is pretty awesome, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're running out of time.
We're probably way over time.
We're probably way over time, and so we are gonna cut it. And I'm sure we could talk for hours about this, but we gotta go. Subscribe in the bottom if you haven't already. Like it if you like it. Peace out, A-Town.
A-Town.
Atlanta.
All right. That's where I'm from. Later.